Have you ever encountered a difficult person, someone who always thinks they are right, who considers themselves smarter or superior to everyone else? And what about when that person is in our circle or part of our family? Sometimes we can't simply walk away or abandon the situation. And to live well, we have to learn to manage these relationships without allowing ourselves to be contaminated, and without caring, that is, bringing within ourselves the depreciative view that these people may have of us and others, to maintain this pattern of always being right. The answer can be found in Stoic philosophy, which offers tools to prepare us for life. Often, the knowledge we learn in school does not prepare us for life's situations. The early Stoics said that the sole function of this philosophy was to facilitate and improve the lives of all who practiced it. Regardless of our age, social class, physical or financial condition, we can progress in our lives and move forward. We just need the will and the tools to teach us how to improve. Now, if you are new here, please like the video and subscribe. Statistics show that only 15% of my audience is subscribed to the channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's start this transformative journey together. Are you ready? 1. Understand what you will find. Epictetus used the example of public bathrooms in his lectures to teach an important lesson about mental preparation. In ancient Rome, these places were frequented by people of all social classes, where not only physical needs occurred, but also social interactions and debates. And people behaved in various ways. Some respected the space, while others splashed water, left their belongings scattered on the floor, and still others attended only to commit petty thefts and misdemeanors. Epictetus emphasized that by knowing what to expect and mentally preparing for it, we can maintain calm and emotional control, even in potentially stressful or unpleasant situations. Even though public bathrooms no longer exist, the advice is valid and applicable in many situations in our lives. People who always think they are right are insecure, and generally need constant affirmation of what they say and think to sustain their self-image. Being right is the foundation they need to feel secure about themselves. For these people, being right comes first and becomes more important than the truth, than an easier way to do something, or the common good, because this feeling of always being right reinforces their sense of security. Therefore, when you contradict them, present something new, or somehow disagree with what the person says or thinks, even on simple matters, it already causes so much discussion and friction. The need to feel good and secure must come from looking at ourselves and not from others. Epictetus tells us that true happiness comes from not worrying about things we cannot control, such as the opinions of others. We do not control other people's opinions, but we control our own. We have the ability to control what we think and how we react. When dealing with people who always want to be right, it is useful to understand that they need this approval very much. This helps us not to take it personally and to maintain our calm. For these people, being right is more important than the truth itself. It is more important to be right than to learn a new way of doing something or to know a new point of view. That is, even if you use an argument or present an easier way to get results, they will not listen to you. Understanding this prepares us so that when we encounter people like this, we know how to deal with the situation, responding in a balanced way and without letting it disturb us emotionally. A person who always thinks they are right needs others to agree with their opinion. Their security depends on that validation, and this means they do not accept any kind of opinion contrary to theirs. It is important to emphasize that Stoicism teaches us the opposite of this. to practice emotional flexibility, and to be constantly humble to learn, progress, and improve ourselves. As confirmed by the words of Marcus Aurelius, "If someone can prove that I am wrong and show me my error in any thought or action, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." Evil is persisting in one's own self-deception and ignorance. 2. Know your worth. Some people who always need to be right often think they are superior to others and can make us doubt ourselves. They insist so much on their own ideas that they are right, that we can start to feel that our opinions are wrong, that we are less intelligent, or even that we have learning difficulties. They completely reverse the situation. When you don't know your worth, it becomes easy to fall into this kind of trap, especially due to the convincing power of these people. This can be very detrimental, as it affects our self-confidence and our ability to trust our own judgments and abilities. There are ways to deal with people who always need to be right, and one of them is to remember that despite our external differences, such as being thin, fat, tall, short, rich, poor, we all share the same human nature. We all have fears, insecurities, and desires, which puts us on fundamental equality. When encountering someone like this, keep these 2 points in mind. First, that the other person is important, but so are you. All of us as human beings are important. Sometimes we put people on a pedestal, and by doing so, we diminish ourselves. We recognize that such a person is extraordinary, but we forget that we have similar capacities within us. Moral and cognitive development is within reach of all who dedicate themselves to it. It is not exclusive to some people. They do not belong only to some, but are accessible to all who seek and cultivate them. Understanding this causes you to awaken, to look at yourself and discover your own worth. Not only admire this value in others, but also learn to build and develop your potential. So, when talking and interacting with someone who insists on always being right, think, we are two important people discussing something that benefits both. This helps to maintain a balanced perspective and to respect both your opinion and others. 3. Keep the dialogue light. People who always want to be right can make us lose our temper and destabilize us, but that only happens if we let it. We need to remember that people can only affect us to the extent that we allow them to. As Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself in Meditations, "Do not feel harmed, and you will not be harmed." A useful strategy that Epictetus suggests is to use humor. When someone tries to dominate the conversation by insisting they are always right, responding lightly can help reduce tension. At this moment, pay attention to your body language. If you're crossing your arms or feeling too tense, try to relax a bit. Adopt a more open posture and respond calmly and lightly. This can help prevent the conversation from turning into an endless argument. Maintaining a welcoming posture and speaking calmly are effective ways to control the situation. It's easy to get stressed during an argument, especially when emotions start to take over. In those moments, conversations can quickly turn into exchanges of insults. Stress doesn't help when we're trying to talk to someone who thinks they're superior. These people often cross boundaries, trying to impose their opinions. To truly achieve a productive outcome in a discussion, it's crucial to stay calm. This allows us to focus on what really matters and not get carried away by provocations. In Stoicism, using humor is seen as a sign of intelligence and a way to keep calm in the face of problems. The Stoics believed that laughing and making jokes helped accept things we cannot change and emotionally detach from the problems happening around us. With humor, they faced challenges in a calmer and more relaxed manner, without letting themselves be excessively shaken by the problems. Choosing a more serene and thoughtful response, rather than directly confronting, helps control the situation without turning it into an ego battle. 4. Avoid pointless disputes. Before starting a debate, ask yourself, What is the purpose of this discussion? Is it worth investing my time and energy in this? Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, advises that all actions should have a clear purpose. Asking yourself if it's worth starting a discussion is understanding if you're doing something productive or just wasting time. People who believe they are always right are usually stubborn, convinced they possess all knowledge, or worse, that their truth is the only one that matters. Most of the time, these people adopt an arrogant attitude. They speak as if they were superior and treat others as if they were less intelligent or as if they needed them to learn something. These attitudes show how arrogant they are. Epictetus reminds us of a fundamental truth. It's impossible to learn something new if you believe you already know everything. A person who sees themselves as always right rarely learns or allows themselves to move away from this position of false superiority they have created and believe in. Matching strengths with someone like this ends up being exhausting and completely useless. And it's important for us to understand that just because someone thinks they're better than others doesn't make it true. It's just their opinion, and probably unfounded. This reminds me of a true story from the US Navy, which happened in October 1995 between a US Navy ship and Canadian coast authorities near the coast of Newfoundland. The conversation started with the Americans calmly requesting, "Please alter your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid a collision with our vessel." The Canadians immediately responded, "I suggest you change your course 15 degrees to the south." The American became irritated and replied, "This is the captain of a US Navy ship. I repeat, change your course." But the Canadian held their ground. "No, change your current course." The situation began to escalate. The American captain shouted into the microphone, "This is the aircraft carrier USS Lincoln, the second largest ship in the American fleet in the Atlantic. We are accompanied by 3 destroyers, 3 frigates, and several support ships. I demand that you change your course 15 degrees to the north, or we will take measures to ensure the safety of our ship." And the Canadian responded, "This is a lighthouse, over." The American captain had no choice but to change course, as a lighthouse cannot move. Sometimes our arrogance makes us blind. How often do we criticize the actions of others or demand that the people around us change their behavior, when in fact it's us who should change our own path? A person who always believes they are right adopts the posture of the captain. Their insecurity and arrogance prevent them from seeing things as they are, but rather through the false idea of greatness they have built for themselves. Learn to identify when an argument becomes futile and know when it's time to withdraw. Avoiding unnecessary disputes helps maintain your inner peace and focus your energy where it really matters. Now a word from our sponsor, the Genius Wave. Tap into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and the cutting-edge breakthroughs of modern science with their unique brainwave optimization program designed to enhance mental clarity, focus, and cognitive power. As supported by extensive NASA research, this program revitalizes the often neglected theta brainwave, fostering profound learning and intuitive insights. Discover how embracing the Stoic virtues of self-control and wisdom can be amplified through neuroscience, allowing you to access untapped mental reserves. By clicking on the link in the comments section, you not only journey towards personal growth, but also gain exclusive access to this transformative tool. Unlock the secrets to heightened brain function. Don't let this opportunity pass. Embrace the Stoic path to a sharper, more resilient mind today. Every minute we waste needlessly is a minute we could dedicate to our personal development. Be understanding. Trying to understand another person's point of view is a valuable way to show empathy. You can ask, "Why do you think that way?" or "How did you come to this conclusion?" These questions help understand how they formed their opinions and beliefs. Another aspect of being understanding is practicing active listening, listening attentively while showing respect for the other person's ideas and viewpoints. What someone who thinks they know it all does best is not respecting others' opinions or knowledge. By listening carefully, you show respect and willingness to engage in conversation, and as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This means sticking to our principles even when we don't agree with what others do. Start by encouraging constructive dialogue and seek to value the contributions each person can bring, regardless of their background. This is part of Stoicism, a philosophy that says we all have something to teach. It's important to consider that often someone's stubbornness comes from feeling insecure. These people use what they know as protection against their own weaknesses. If contradicted, these insecurities can be hit, leading to exaggerated reactions, ranging from speaking louder to, in extreme situations, physical aggression. Stubbornness is also common among people who believe they know everything. This behavior often appears with an arrogant attitude, acting as if everyone around knows less or depends on them to gain knowledge. Some people may also feel the need to control everything around them, which often is a manifestation of insecurity. By trying to control what others think, they want to avoid any opinion that might hurt them or challenge their belief system they've fought so hard to build. And, as we know from Stoicism, it's impossible to control others' opinions, so engaging in dialogue with people who believe they know everything, learn better than everyone, or understand the world better is so difficult. Whether it's in a work meeting, in a college class, or at home, dealing with these people requires a lot of patience and understanding. They seek security and external approval and try to control what people think and believe to feel good about themselves, protecting their weaknesses and fears rather than confronting them. Every time we look within ourselves, we gain the opportunity to know ourselves better, to understand and learn to deal with our emotions, our depressive feelings, our anger. Every time we seek something external to fill these answers, we give our power to whomever it may be. Finally, it's important to consider whether it's worth arguing with people like this. Often, it's better to recognize when the conversation won't lead to anything and step back, maintaining peace of mind and using your energy more effectively. Reflect on your own beliefs. Sometimes we learn wrong and continue doing something wrong for a lifetime. As Epictetus told us, there are two ways to see the same situation. We can also use the challenge of a conversation with someone who always thinks they're right to examine and strengthen our own beliefs. Reflecting on what we believe is very important for us to grow as people. Often, without realizing it, we follow ideas or behaviors without questioning if they are really good or right, simply because that's how we learned since we were young. We are shaped by our environment and influenced by the character of those around us. When we talk to someone who always thinks they are right, we can use this situation as an opportunity to rethink our own ideas. The philosopher Epictetus taught us that we can see the same situation in different ways. This means that even if someone seems not to change their mind, we can take the chance to review and strengthen what we ourselves believe. Listening to what the other person has to say and thinking about it can help us see if we are wrong in any aspect or if there's something we can improve. It's good to keep an open mind and always be willing to learn from others. When you're talking to someone who seems to know everything, try not to judge quickly or think, "This person thinks they're better than everyone else." Knowing this is their way, prepare yourself for what's coming and approach the conversation differently. Listen carefully and see if there's something useful you can learn or understand better during the discussion. Even though it may seem difficult, this approach can bring valuable insights and help you grow. It's also essential to know when our beliefs are right, and need to be defended. Talking to someone who believes they are always right serves not only to doubt our ideas or test our judgment, but also can be a confirmation of our values and principles. If after thinking and debating with a know-it-all, you see that your ideas still make sense, it reinforces our confidence in them. Ultimately, being open to changing your mind when necessary shows that we are mature and have emotional intelligence. Viewing challenges as opportunities to learn, not as threats, significantly transforms our way of thinking and also makes us more balanced and aware in our lives. Use reason. According to Seneca, using reason is essential to achieve clarity of thought. This helps maintain emotional stability, no matter how difficult a conversation or interaction with someone who always wants to be right is. There's an important Stoic principle that says, no one can disturb or destabilize us unless we allow it. Although Stoic philosophy is very ancient, its wisdom is surprisingly modern and relevant. It helps us build resilience and strength to face the challenges of everyday life, and it can help you become emotionally resilient so you don't let external events disturb you nor allow anyone to irritate you. Stoic philosophy can teach you to control yourself and maintain tranquility in the midst of a difficult conversation or argument. It can assist you in decision-making and, therefore, dramatically simplify your daily life. The key here is to use logical and rational arguments rather than emotional ones to discuss different viewpoints, striving to maintain serenity no matter what happens around you. But remember that, while for us, this may be a learning experience, for others, it may seem like an attack on their self-esteem. The power of silence. Often, when we try to explain our point of view to people who think they are always right, it seems like they never really listen to us. This can happen because it's difficult for these people to accept others' ideas. Even if they hear us, they won't respond or engage in the conversation. What for us is learning, for them is an attack on their self-esteem. For example, if someone criticizes us for something we do, like eating meat or supporting a certain political movement, it makes us reflect. We consider the criticism, think about the reasons behind it, and decide whether or not to incorporate this new perspective into our beliefs. This is part of a healthy process of learning and adaptation. On the other hand, with an insecure person, if we give them the same information, they won't listen and will always impose their arguments in a way that nothing changes their way of thinking. This behavior creates communication barriers and often makes a simple conversation difficult. Knowing this, we can choose the best strategy in response: silence. Silence can be very useful, especially when dealing with someone who always thinks they're right. Often, choosing not to engage in an argument can help us avoid fights and maintain calm. Stoic philosophy teaches us that valuing silence helps maintain our inner peace. The Stoics believed that we should control our reactions to the situations around us to remain calm. When we decide to stay quiet in moments of tension, we are practicing self-control. Choosing not to speak doesn't mean we are passive, cowardly, or that we agree with everything. It shows that we are strong and aware. Knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet is an important skill that helps us deal with difficult situations. It's not always worth the price of opening our mouths and arguing with the know-it-all. Silence also allows us to observe more and think more clearly about what is happening. Instead of wasting energy on endless arguments, we can use this time to reflect and try to better understand others. This can open our minds to new ideas and perspectives that we wouldn't see if we were arguing. Therefore, using silence is not just a way to avoid conflicts, it's a way to grow personally. We learn about patience, about setting boundaries, and choosing our battles. In a world full of opinions, knowing when to stay quiet can be a powerful way to assert our position and maintain our peace of mind. Dealing with people who think they are always right can be very difficult and tiring. It's important to learn to handle it intelligently. In all the strategies you saw in the video, it's important to understand their value, master your ability to react through reason, and have emotional intelligence to deal with the stress these people try to cause in us. This balanced way of acting helps you stay firm and respectful while avoiding unnecessary arguments. Thus, you strengthen your confidence and learn to deal better with complicated situations. Most importantly, don't negate yourself, lose your identity, or diminish yourself all the time just to avoid fights. When you decide to yield, do it strategically so that the price of your peace is not your self-esteem or you giving your power to others. Now, if any part of this message has been helpful to you, leave us your like and comment, helping the algorithm recommend it to someone who needs it at this time. If you don't know what to say, just type mind over body. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new videos. And if you look through the videos we've already uploaded, you're sure to find something to take with you. Have a good day.